Today's video is going to be around customer payments. But first thing we're going to look at is the preferences associated with this. So we're going to jump into utilities, preferences, and jump into payments. These are going to be all your different preferences related to payments. So default payment accounts, all the information there, customer, supplier, credit card, default variation accounts, statement message, and your general options. The one we're going to look at though is related around the accounts receivable reports, and that's grouping jobs with the customer. And what I mean by that is, if we jump out of here, go into payments, accounts receivable report, we can now see with this ABC company there are jobs associated with this company. Now by grouping that together, we can consolidate these jobs within that customer. And what I mean by that is, jump back into utilities, preferences, payments, we can select to now group the jobs with the customer. So if we go ahead and save that now, jump back into payments, accounts receivable report, we can now see that that job has been incorporated within this customer. So just bear that in mind. If you do wish to group jobs within those customers or within the relevant customer, that's how you're going to do it with this button here. So select that if you choose. Again, just go over all the different options within these preferences within your payments and double check that everything is accurate. Go ahead and save that. If we now jump into our payments module on the left here, we can now see we have the option to pay customers. You can have a look at the payment list. You can do prepayments. You can receive bulk payments. But what we're going to look at first is how to pay a customer. So we click on customer payment and we're going to enter in the customer we would like to pay. So if we enter in ARG, this is now going to populate with all the payments associated with this customer. Again, we can see here the currency option, payment amount, payment dates, payment methods. Once the transactions have been applied over here, we can select how we're going to pay that. We can add a reference number to that, and we can also see the company's opening balance if they have one at all. So what we can do is, if we'd like to select all of these payments, we can simply click select all, or you can individually apply the payments that you would like to pay. So we're going to go ahead and just apply a payment and talk about the different options we can use when applying a payment. Just going to make these a little bit bigger. So I've selected to pay these first three. When we do that, we can see the invoice, or what type of transaction was it. It's an invoice, the date, transaction number, what the amount is, and what the amount due is. When I click off that, it has no payment amount. Once I click that, it'll tell me it'll open up with the default payment amount being the amount due. If I choose so, I can alter this, and that'll alter the outstanding amount. So if I left that back at normal, this amount will now be altered. So I can choose to pay the full amount or not. I can even choose if I wish to apply discounts, I can, outstanding amounts, refunding, and so on. But we're going to go ahead and look at applying these amounts, and we're going to say the payment method is cash. Again, here we've got check, so the bank account name, account number, check number, all the information regarding around a check. Direct deposit, EFT if you choose, MasterCard, money order, but we're going to go ahead and click cash, and we're going to pay these amounts here. So all we do is we select them. Once they're selected, you can give it a reference, hit save, payment done. So once that's done, we can pop into the customer payment list, look for the company we just did that payment for, drillable, double click, and you can see the customer payment around what we just did within this list here. So we can see this is what we just did. We applied these three for these amounts, and no outstanding amounts for these payments. Just jump back out of there. So that's a great way of doing customer payments and looking at what customers were paid in that list. What we can also do is what we can see what needs to be deposited for the day. So we can go ahead and look at banking module here, and we can go to the to be deposited button. This is going to be all the transactions that need to be deposited today. We can look at all what type of transaction was it? Was it a prepayment? Was it a refund, cash sale, and what needs to be deposited? Again, click on what all needs to be deposited, select all, deselect all. You can look at the different departments that you want to deposit for. So if we want to have a look and see what needs to be deposited for this apartment, just select the department from this list here on the drop down and go ahead and say go. This will open up all the deposits that need to be done for that department, or you can simply select all departments and see what needs to be deposited. You can go ahead again and say select all, and this will be logged in as one transaction into your bank, so all of that can be deposited at once. And again, you could also select individuals that need to be deposited. Go ahead and click save, and there we go, job done, to be deposited. So again, select what needs to be deposited and simply go and deposit that. We can go ahead and jump back into our payments module. What we can also do within our payments list, we can look at our accounts receivable reports. Now this list is again completely customizable. You can move things around, you can resize certain things, you can ignore dates or search on custom dates if you choose to. We can say select the last week and see what information populates in your accounts receivable report regards to these dates or within these dates. Again, if you wish to just see everything in your accounts receivable reports, just simply click ignore dates, hit refresh, and that'll populate everything. You can look at it in summary mode, you can look at the information within details or extra details. As well as that, this is completely drillable again. Wherever you are, double click and it will take you back to what makes that up. So we can see here we've got an invoice 4x4 world, what the product was, what the total amount is, and what the balance is over here. Also a great feature with that is we can add notes to these. So if you want to add a note to a specific company, let's say this one here, we can add a note to this. So say must call on payment, we can add a date stamp to this, so we can see that this individual logged this on this date at this time, and we can issue a to-do for this as well, so it can pop up as a reminder. So we're going to go ahead and say tomorrow for ABC company, go ahead, hit save, and we can pop into our to-do list, and we can see that this has been made and this action must be done. We can also see from here, if we go out, just jump out of that, if we go into our reminders, hit refresh, this will issue that action up for us to do this call. So there's that ABC call on payment. Double click and it takes you back to what makes that up. So we created that to do, and here is that to do. Just jump back out of there. So a great way of keeping contact and setting reminders for your guys to do follow-ups. As well as that, in the customer payment, you can select a customer to pay again quickly, say this company, and we select to pay this amount here, and this customer has actually overpaid that amount. So that customer has paid more then the amount due. What is going to happen then if we go ahead and save this? Oh, got to select a payment, select cash, give it a reference, hit save. If we now jump back into that customer within customer payment, select him there, we can now see that that opening balance has now changed. So that amount that was paid, that individual is now in credit. So we can see the amount here, and here's the amount due. We can now see that this person has been paid in credit and he has overpaid on an amount. So again, if a payment has been overpaid, we can see where it was done, and the due amount is now in a negative. So we paid 30,000 from instead of paying the 22 amount here, and that will reflect on outstanding amount due, and it will reflect on the opening balance as well as that. Jump back out of there. What we can also do is we can even apply refunds and see them from within customer payments. So if we jump into sales and we do a refund, just open the list and select a sale to return, and we'll say the sale here. There we go, and we're going to refund this amount here, so 222.30, and we're going to say we can either leave that as an invoice or select the amount. I'll just go ahead and leave that at the invoice, so we know the customer name, the refund number, and we go ahead and save that. There we go. So refund done. If we now pop back into our payments, into customer payment, open the list, we can now see a refund has been made for this product. You can incorporate the refund when doing a payment. So if we're going to say this payment and we're going to incorporate the refund within there, we can simply do that at the same time. And what I mean by that, if I just go back a step, if we look at the payment amount, to visually see the refund being worked, we can see this invoice here. We'll apply that, so 635.04, and then we're going to apply the refund amount. That will then change that payment amount to incorporate the refunded amount from this number 635.04 and incorporating that refund. So that's a way of incorporating a refund for when doing a customer payment. Again, select the payment first and then the refund to visually see the payment amount due. And there we go. We've incorporated that refund and we've done a payment for that customer. As well as that, within the customer payment list, we can select any customer again. So say Apple Corp. When doing a payment, we can also apply discounts to this payment. So say I wish to only do 400 and the outstanding amount is 20, we can discount that amount in here to incorporate that for that invoice. So if we go ahead and have a look at the invoice for Apple Corp, transaction 381, we can then see this discount take place. So go ahead and save, apply discount. If we now jump into our invoice, and we go ahead and filter on Apple Corp. Again, to filter, simply right click on where you would like to filter, add filter. You can do an or filter, partial filter, and so on. I'm just going to do an and filter, and then I'm going to preview that. So here's all the invoices for Apple Corp, and the invoice we're looking for is 381. Double click, pop back into that. We can then see that a payment discount has been made for that product. What we can also do is we can apply customer prepayments. So if you've got a customer that's paying early, let's say ABC company, and they have a prepayment of $1,000, supply a rep for that, give it a payment method, a reference number, and this pretty much works around the same principle of your customer payment option here. So prepayment and customer payment is going to work around the same principle. Again, you can add some notes to say this customer is paying early for this product on this invoice, or so on and so forth. So you can go ahead and add notes to that if you choose. We're going to go ahead and save this. And what we can do now is we can go and create an invoice for this customer that we can apply this prepayment to. Go ahead and say ABC company, and we're going to put in some product, put in some bin products, 20, and we are going to go ahead and save this. So this order, invoice number 546, and we are going to be able to see that on our prepayment list now. So if we jump back into payments, customer payments, and we're going to drop in that company, we can now see the invoice that we just created and that prepayment amount. And what we would like to do effectively is select that amount for the 1,270 and then apply this prepayment amount. That'll then change that payment amount and effectively apply this prepayment into this invoice. Go ahead and save that. Should put in an amount here, give it a reference, hit save, and that is how you would apply your prepayments to your customer payments. As well as that, we can look at receiving bulk payments. So if you choose to receive all of these different payments as in one motion, you can go ahead and receive these. You can select what different departments you'd like to look at within your company. You can look at all of them if you choose. You can search via date ranges. You can select all. So if we're going to say this is going to be a cash transaction, we can select all. We can select individuals that you'd like to look at, and then have a look at the balances related to these and the amount received. And once that's done, go ahead, hit apply, and that'll populate your bulk payments. So you can do payments either individually or receive them as a bulk payment. The last thing we're going to look at is our print statements. This is going to open up what statements we would like to print for what. Our different options, we can look at our grouping options, which is going to be group the jobs with customers, group the related customers, or group by customer type. We also have transactions to include sales order invoices, statements based on sales or due dates, print sales order in of days outstanding, sales numbers, sales dates. So a huge amount of options within print statements. And again, select the statements you'd like to print, hold control to select multiples. Again, you can select all, deselect all, or simply hold control and choose the statements you would like to print. Again, you can select date ranges to filter from, look at different departments. You can fax this, email this, or print it. So we're going to have a preview, and you can select what statement you'd like to preview this in. This will be the statements coming from the built-in SQL writer. You can choose and alter these statements. There is a video on the SQL writer, so if you'd like to know more, go ahead and watch that. But you can choose which statements you'd like to view, and that'll populate the statement with the information that you've selected to look at. So those amounts that we chose to look at from printing these statements are right here, and all the information regards to that. going to save that. So there we go. That's your customer prepayments, how to do customer payments and prepayments regards to that, and how to view your accounts receivable report. Thanks for watching.